All right, bringing it home. Let me guess, show of hands. Is this the last session you're going to attend at Cannes? Last session? Last session, all right. You know what they say, they leave the best to last. So I'm Terry Kawaja. I run an investment bank called Luma Partners, and we do a bunch of mergers in this sector, largely around with technology companies. But we do other things too, like the Lumascape. You've probably heard of that. It's a map of all the companies in the space. So when we sat down to make a Lumascape about the AI companies in advertising, it was a daunting task. There are hundreds, thousands of them. And what was interesting is when we did that diligence to find out how we position them on the Lumascape, a lot of the capabilities were similar to what companies are already doing today, maybe with some slightly better tools or some slightly better workflow. In other words, marginal improvement. But we met one company that we said, holy cow, this is totally different. It's a game changer. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is Flam. Shaurya is the founder and CEO. Tell us what this is, because you have never seen anything like it, trust me.
Thank you so much, Terry. I think just a very quick introduction, guys. Internet has three types of content: text, images, and videos. These are the three modalities we have seen all our life. And the way content is evolving, it is basically moving towards more engaging form factors. Flam essentially is a new modality on internet. It's a very special technology because it's very rare that you are able to introduce a new modality on internet. This modality has far more engagement compared to a video. It's a 3D streaming technology which works without any app, without any web on your device. I'll have a video play out to better explain how it actually feels live, and then you can scan a QR code, it's a Flam code, to try it out on your device. So we'll do that?
Sure.
Introducing Flam, an AI-native content format that is highly immersive and interactive, with hyper-realistic 3D visuals streamed under 300 milliseconds, no app, no download, and easily distribute across every channel at the scale of the internet. A Flam starts with a prompt, and Fable 2, our multimodal generation pipeline, builds your entire Flam in seconds. Every Flam is built to be felt, voice, touch, and haptics all woven in. And when it's ready, share it as a link, embed it natively, or place a Flam code anywhere on outdoor, retail, or TV. One piece of content, every surface. And Flam goes further than content. Flam visual agents give your brand a face, a voice, and a presence, always on across every channel. Built from a single photo and a voice sample, Falcon One, our 30 billion parameter AI model, keeps your agent knowledgeable and on brand. Phantom One makes them human, lifelike expressions, perfect lip sync, in any language, in real time. Not a chatbot, your brand, speaking. For brands, Flam means content that doesn't just reach your audience, it engages and answers them at scale, in real time. Start building with Flam.
Just a quick summary of this. So Flam essentially has a 3D streaming technology which is high fidelity content on your device. You can real-time interact with it, which is why it is far more engaging than any other formats we have seen in the past. You should try scanning this Flam code and literally stream this content on your device before we dive deeper into the discussion and what we are scaling at Flam.
There's an expression when people try to define porn, and they say, well, you know it when you see it. When you try to describe a Flam, you really have to see it and experience it. Here, do we need to move this?
Oh, let me.
Yeah.
Good idea. Hold on.
Because you play around with it and you will have an appreciation for the sort of differentiation of what this format does. And there we go. So what's interesting and perhaps also challenging, let's come on back, is whenever there's a new format, you have to evangelize it, like by coming to Cannes Lion and talking about it, or in meetings and getting advertisers to sort of have an appreciation for what the use cases can be. Jeetu, at Google, you guys have chosen to utilize this format on behalf of your marketer clients. Talk to us, tell us what you do at Google and what attracted you to deploying Flam for the benefit of your clients.
Thanks, Terry. Terry needs to be everybody's hype person. That's the one big takeaway I have from here. I have the privilege of leading the US agency ad partnerships at Google. And the way we define agency, especially in the mid-market segment that I lead, you have three segments of the space. You have the holding companies that have a lot of mid-market customers who are our partners. You know who they are. We have the independent agencies, or the 10,000 independent agencies. My team works with the top 250 by Google spend and revenue and so on and so forth. And then we have the ad tech, martech segment, which rolls up to me as well. So all the companies that have reached a certain level of scale, if they're ad tech and the agencies of the future, they call themselves, they're all in my portfolio. So going back to first principles on what really struck us about Flam, it takes a lot for me to go introduce a new tech partner to my largest agencies. And we did that for Flam because...
A little closer.
And, you know, we did that for Flam because we felt like it was a novel idea, not just from a very incremental perspective, but potentially from a very transformational perspective. And I'll tell you why I think it's transformational. So we've gotten used to text ads. We evolved as marketers and got very smart at creating display ads. And we got even smarter after, you know, video generation was democratized with AI, and we have a lot of video ads. And we have platforms. That's the other dimension. So the first dimension is the modality itself. Then we have search, display, YouTube broadly, by platform. That is the other big dimension. Google, Meta, Amazon, Netflix, right? It's proliferating. The platforms are proliferating. The ability to create content across those platforms has gotten a lot easier. What hasn't changed all these years after video actually started coming in is a new modality. Why are modalities important? Modalities are important because at the end of the day, advertising is as good as engagement. Engagement is as good as how much business it drives. And we know that the more enriching the format is, the more engaging it is. There's a reason why rich media is called rich media. It's because it actually helps drive engagement and business. That's what we're all here for. And so when you have a format that is actually even more engaging than video and even more immersive, and you don't have the biggest barrier, which is wearables, you can just stream it as if it were a regular video ad or a search ad or a display ad. It is exciting, and we owe it to our partners to introduce this new modality. And it's a hard job, but it's the easiest pitch I've ever done.
In many ways, this new format almost feels like it's hard to define, in the sense that, you know, is it top of funnel? Absolutely. Does it grab attention? Yes. Does it drive conversion? Yes. It's interactive. So it's kind of like it's the 4x4. It accomplishes all aspects of marketing. And look, we had text, we went to images, and then to video, and it's entirely possible in 5 years' time we'll be talking about Flam as a verb. And certainly that's what we would hope to have happen. How are you finding the use cases of your customers? Are they using it for top of funnel? Are they using it for bottom of the funnel? Is it all of the above?
It is actually all of the above, and good that you ask that question, because what we are seeing is 3x higher watch time compared to video as a format, which is massive uplift. That's the engagement piece. But where it ends actually is the performance. So Flam as a format is seeing 25% more ROAS compared to video, which is like massive uplift. There are so many DCO companies who are trying to do incremental uplift in ROAS. But if you can do 25%, that's like massive. Yep. So we are seeing like end-to-end efficiency and advertising marketing.
But famously, some marketers are conservative. They're hesitant to put money into new things, even if in the name of innovation. What is it gonna take for marketers to make the kind of spend on formats like Flam a must part of their buys?
I'll actually have Jeetu answer that because with Google, the way they have been amazing customers and now the way Google is taking it to their partners, I think I'll let you answer that.
Yeah, look, I think, again, back to first principles in marketing. You want reach, you want engagement, and you want deep measurement. Let's get to it one by one. You reach audiences if you're across formats, if the platform and format mix is maximized, right? So when you think about the new modality, there's an opportunity for you to maximize exposure through a new modality itself. That's reach. Come to engagement. Think about engagement on a VR or a AR device, right? It's not, this is not a parallel to AR, VR, right? But just imagine an experience in that realm when you wear glasses or, the Meta Ray-Bans or whatever, right? You've seen that you're more engaged because the experience is more immersive. Even basic 3D is more immersive. The more dimensions you have, the more immersive the experience, and therefore the engagement's deeper. And advertising is as good as engagement. Engagement's, again, back to the same point, as good as your performance it drives. And that's the third realm. Performance is, now, we've deep measurement constructs here. We've never really, all the optimization around measurement has happened in a very basic realm, right? Which is, have they seen the ad? Great. Have they engaged with the ad? Great. Has it converted? But if you really think about it from first principles, you have to think about it more deeply. What if you could actually figure out how they interacted with the ad in all dimensions? That completely changes how we think about marketing performance. It completely changes how we think about ROI measurement. It completely thinks about, it changes the game because marketing then feeds into things like product design. CMOs, marketers could never ever imagine a world where they could have an influence on product design. But if you actually are in a 3D format and you know exactly, let's say it's a shoe that just showed here, and you're able to rotate it, and you know that there are certain parts of the shoe where you spend more time, that can feed into product design, and every other shoe needs to have a similar design, right? Basic extrapolation, but we've never thought about it as marketers. Those are the new frontiers that I think opportunities like, these products, exposure at Cannes offers to all of us because this is truly cutting edge.
And what do you advise marketers when they show hesitancy? They're like, well, I'm not really sure what this is. How do they learn about it? How do they get comfortable that this is something? It's probably like the Vit demo. You just got to see it to believe it.
It's such a great question because I grapple with this every day on YouTube. Shameless plug, but I have to do this because I think I truly care about performance broadly, and that's the whole idea of marketing, right? It has to evolve and drive performance. YouTube is 50% monetized today, right? 50% monetized compared to the next platform out there with severely worse engagement metrics and reach. Why is that? That's because there's this hesitation and there's this mindset to drive incremental performance. But if you would again think from first principles, how do you drive transformational performance? In an agentic world where it's all about the quality of the inputs and the business outcomes it drives and nothing else in between matters, what would you optimize for? If marketing didn't evolve the way it did over the last many decades, what would you optimize for? You'd optimize for three things. You'd optimize for a platform that has the best reach, a platform that has the best performance, a platform that has the best business outcomes connection. And guess what? You would think around another dimension. What's a format that does all of the above? And if Flam is not part of that mix, you're subserving every brand you represent. And that's what I truly believe in. When you go back to first principles and when you peel the onion, it becomes extremely apparent in 3D without wearables.
So obviously, it's the format is so mind-blowing, and yet, Shurya, you built it with all this data for feedback. So you must have had in mind that marketers would want to demonstrate performance with the use of this format.
Honestly, the key fundamental of building Flam was to drive more user engagement on content. People actually scroll everything today without even realizing. You just like blindly scroll videos back to back on TikTok or Instagram Reels, and nobody has time to engage with any content whatsoever.
Right.
So the goal of Flam was to have people spend more time. And I think when it comes to marketing, if people are able to spend more time, it does drive more sales. And that's what marketers care about.
Yep.
So I think, it's been very exciting to see the kind of adoption we are seeing in marketing as a use case. Many other use cases, but I think marketing and performance is just like blowing up.
Give me an example of a client who started using it, saw success, and then ramped up their usage.
Google is right here, and I hate to say Google all the time, but one of the companies I truly respect because they understand AI, data, and advertising like nobody else. Google first became a customer. They started doing pixel ads on Flam format. Then they expanded into YouTube, Gemini search. They all are now products advertising on Flam. And that's been like land and expand like nothing I've seen in any tech company that my friends run. So I think, and that's been the case with all 100 plus enterprises that are active on Flam today. So it's just like...
I already have a tagline for you. It's Flam good enough for Google. So every time there's a new format, there's infrastructure that's required to make it work. So video needed broadband, it needed video players. What's needed in order for, what kind of infrastructure is needed for Flam to scale?
I'll just quickly talk about this because this is like deeply technical. We spent 3 years building the entire infrastructure needed for this. Just like you need a streaming technology to stream videos, you need a streaming technology to stream Flam. Flam is a high fidelity 3D streaming technology, which is real-time touch and voice controlled. Before we existed, there was no way to stream 3D content.
Right.
So that's one piece of the infra we have built. The other infrastructure is how do you generate Flams at scale? So just like you have image generation models, video generation models, now you have Flam generation models. These are like state-of-the-art models which are now able to scale Flam much faster than we could before.
Yeah, but I want to clarify something. The infrastructure technology that Shurya is talking about is what they already built. I'm going to suggest a new answer to that question. What kind of infrastructure do you need to build to ensure that Flam scales? Nothing. You need nothing. When he demonstrated it to me on his phone, I looked at it and I said, that can't be. My mind just broke. And I said, you know what? I'm not saying I don't trust you, but I don't trust you. So I'm going to show it. I want to see it on my phone because I was afraid he had something downloaded. I tried it on my phone. It worked instantly. And I'm like, how is that even possible? So, so I think the right answer is nothing. No infrastructure is required, which is the mind-blowing, thing about it. So there's nothing standing in the way.
If I may add,
Yeah.
for you all in the audience here, the technical infrastructure is fun to know about, but it doesn't really apply to you day to day. Let's take the infra out of the infrastructure, and what structure do you need in your marketing organizations is a very interesting question to ensure that this stuff works and scales and shows these differentiated results. And the only thing that you need to really think about is a mindset shift. And the mindset shift, again, back to first principles. If you were to build marketing from scratch and you wanted to give every platform the benefit of every doubt to make sure you maximize the opportunities in those platforms, what would you do? You would test it, you would iterate it, you would have guardrails and governance in place to make sure that stuff's working the way it's supposed to, and you would have test budgets that are bold enough. Because unless you're bold enough and you're willing to work with the system to make it work, it won't work. And I'm going to extrapolate that to AI solutions more broadly, that all of you have listened to in the entire Crossset here and beyond, right? There are new solutions. Stuff works if you want to make it work. So what structures would you have in your organization? What budgets would you dedicate to it? How would you shift the mindset and culture of an organization to really embrace AI and novel solutions like Flam? I think is imperative.
And how do you market a product that nobody knows? I mean, it's kind of you've got a chicken and egg problem of trying to evangelize something that is amazing if they just see it. But what's behind how do you get people in your funnel?
I think best part about Flam is people get people, more people. So we just have to touch a few people, and then it's a very viral product.
So word of mouth.
Yes, word of mouth is like a big thing for us. And then all the amazing agency and publisher partners, they just take it to masses and like all the enterprise customers that we have today. So yeah.
Yeah, I really have nothing to add. We have a couple of minutes, and I'm seeing very curious faces. Always happy to answer questions if you have. I can represent the experience of my top agency partners who've used Flam now and are slowly but surely scaling it, but in very significant ways. When I say slowly but surely, I have a really high threshold for what pace means. And I'm so thrilled to see how amazing some of these top agencies of ours have been in terms of, the appetite to learn, appetite to test, appetite to scale. We're talking about what structures need to be created broadly, and including Flam structures that actually help you show results to large brands. And these are all Fortune 500 customers within the top 20 agencies in the country. So yeah, happy to answer questions.
If you're a global marketer sitting in the audience and you say, yeah, but I've got markets from Singapore to Dusseldorf to Houston, can I use Flam in all those markets?
Yes, you can. And with the generative models that we have, you can generate Flams as fast as you generate images or videos. You can customize them real time for almost every market, every language. Every kind of like small customization you have to do.
A technology that's globally scalable, ease of use, accomplishes all the attributes from attention, engagement, conversion, with performance metrics to boot. Almost sounds too good to be true. Ladies and gentlemen, the best, like I said, it's just like porn. You gotta see it to know it. Check out Flam and you'll understand the power of this new format. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much, Terry. It's been fun. Guys, we will distribute a few Flams to you. Enjoy that.